Hey guys, if you enjoy the video, remember to leave a like.
The history of Silent Hill. Before I start, I'd like to point out that the video of the story of Silent Hill will be released on Wednesday, September 3rd. Let's go back. No, further back. Wait, too far back. Yep, right there. Silent Hill 1's development started back in September 1996 by Team Silent. Team Silent were not compatible with their company's teams and intended to leave Konami as they were not allowed to realize their own ideas, as Konami were forcing them to produce a game that would be successful in the United States and were going for the Hollywood-like atmosphere. This led to the team increasingly feeling like they were outsiders. They decided that the best possible thing to go with would be to ignore the limits of Konami's original plan and make it appeal more to the emotions of the players instead. The team wanted to go for a psychological type horror and introduce the fear of the unknown. They did this by making the plot vague and occasionally contradictory to leave its true meaning in the dark. Artist Takeyoshi Sato was given the job to design the game's cast. Originally, Sato was just a lowly font designer and file sorter. After coming up with a way to model characters and render them out in the highest quality seen in the gaming industry, he approached Konami and showed them a demo movie he rendered. They loved it, and he threatened to withhold his technical knowledge from the company if he wasn't given a job in 3D rendering. He had an issue with creating the faces of the American cast, as he had no white co-workers to use for reference. He went off of movies and magazine articles to help him. He ended up volunteering to create the full motion videos in Silent Hill by himself. So over the course of the next 2.5 years, he lived in the development team's office, literally. A lot of the content in the game, including creatures and puzzles, are based on literature enjoyed by the character Alessa, including Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and The Lost World. The game debuted at the 1998 E3 to applause from the audience. The game was released in January 31st, 1999 in North America, March 4th in Japan, and August 1st in Europe. Silent Hill 2's development started directly after the completion of the original. Keeping almost the entire team the same, they decided to keep the original's formula as well. The story was conceived by CGI director Takeyoshi Sato, who based it on a novel named Crime and Punishment by Russian author Fyodor Dostoyevsky, or however you pronounce that. The team was given the option to choose which console they wanted to create the game for. They tried to gather information from Nintendo and Microsoft about their then unannounced consoles, which were the GameCube and Xbox, and they couldn't, so they decided to initially start development on the PS2. Nearing the end of the development of the game, Xbox's specs were released, and it was ported over fairly quickly, just in time for the Tokyo Game Show, to which there was a positive reaction. At the time, next-gen consoles gave Silent Hill 2 the ability to create more realistic fog with dynamic shadow effects. They went an extra mile in the psychological aspects of the game, as the team wanted Silent Hill 2 to reflect the evil against which Harry Mason battles in the first. The art style of the game takes heavily from Jacob's Ladder, Alfred Hitchcock, David Lynch, and many more. Masahiro Ito designed the monsters of Silent Hill 2 with the idea of soured flesh, as he wanted to incorporate an element of humanity. They wanted the monsters to reflect the subconscious of their protagonist, James Sunderland. For example, Pyramid Head was based on James acknowledging the idea that the executioners in the town history look like that. Silent Hill 2 released on September 24th, 2001 in North America, 27th in Japan, and November 23rd in Europe. Silent Hill 3 once again started development directly after the completion of Silent Hill 2. This time there were two teams working on two games. Room 302, which eventually turned into Silent Hill 4, The Room, was also being developed, but back onto Silent Hill 3. The team was shortened by 10 to 15 people after bringing in a few new devs, and other than that, there's not much to say. It has a lot of the same influences and major developers as Silent Hill 2, and there was nothing interesting that happened during development. It was released May 23, 2003 in Europe, July 3rd in Japan, and August 6th in North America. Silent Hill 4: The Room. Not much is known about the development of this game, other than it was developed by the split Team Silent, and that they went for a different kind of game to try to keep the series fresh. While some might argue that they succeeded, many argued the opposite. The game's premise was taken from the book Coin Locker Babies. Instead of having enemies that are just monsters, although they do exist, as with other Silent Hill games, this game had ghosts, unkillable beings that would float silently around. Silent Hill 4 was released on June 17, 2004 in Japan, September 7th in North America, and September 17th in Europe. Silent Hill Origins, first announced at E3 2006 by a development team known as Climax Studios, instead of Team Silent. Originally, the game featured a copy of the Resident Evil 4 styled camera angle and had a focus on action instead of the usual focus on imagery. At the time, the game was going to be released in late 2006, but due to the company having a confused high-level vision for the game, and forgot that this game was going to be released for the PSP, the production was transferred from the new team to another studio in the UK. When the UK team received the original version of Origins, it was intended to be a dark comedy, heavily inspired by the TV show Scrubs. They rushed over to Konami and were allowed to change the game. A man named Sam Barlow is credited for the script, level design, and monsters, all that needed to be completed and redone within a week. Now that's some heavy workflow. The game was released on the PSP on October 26, 2007 in the UK, November 6th in North America, and December 6th in Japan. Early the next year, Konami confirmed a PS2 port would be released and followed through with releasing it in the second quarter of 2008. Going back to 2004, Masashi Tsuboyama announced he would be the chief designer on a new Silent Hill title, Homecoming. No other information about the game was released, other than that it would be released on next-gen consoles. In 2006, the team announced that they would be creating a title with the idea of the fear of daylight, and they were going to make it as similar as possible with the psychological roots of Silent Hill 2. At E3 2007, a new trailer was released by Konami. They announced the title of the game to be Silent Hill 5, and its developer would be a Western developer, The Collective. The Collective merged with Backbone Entertainment in 2005 to form Foundation 9 Entertainment. Then Foundation 9 merged The Collective with Shiny Entertainment to create Double Helix Games. The title was changed to Silent Hill Homecoming only half a year before release. The game was heavily censored in Australia and Germany, and UK imports into Germany of the game are completely banned and can land you jail time. This censorship comes from a single scene in which the main protagonist, Alex Shepard, has a drill put into his eye which proceeds to his brain and he dies. The game was released on September 30th, 2008 in North America, February 27th, 2009 in Europe, and was never released in Japan. Silent Hill Downpour was announced in April 2010 after Konami screened a trailer at the press conference in San Francisco, California, and announced that the game was being developed by Czech developer Vatra Games. Not much other than that is known, as the developer wasn't able to go to gaming expos considering where they're from. The game was released on March 13th, 2012 in North America, March 29th in Europe, April 5th in Australia, and November 8th in Japan. Now, on to Silent Hills and P.T. Whether or not P.T. is actually gameplay to Silent Hills, or if it's just a little sneak peek as to the horrors that will be in Silent Hills is unknown. All we know is that Silent Hills is being made by Kojima, Del Toro, and Norman Reedus. That is one hell of a mashup. I believe that Silent Hills will have the option to go into first person during the investigation-like mode when enemies aren't around, and the rest of the game will be in third person, keeping true to the usual Silent Hill gameplay format. Anyways, thank you guys for watching another Play the Game video. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And get ready for a full Silent Hills coverage from us, and the story of Silent Hill when the video releases next week. Thank you, and goodbye.